On 7 March 161 AD, Emperor Antoninus Pius died peacefully after ruling Rome for nearly 23 years. His reign had brought unmatched prosperity, stability, and peace. For decades, the Roman Empire had enjoyed the golden age of the Pax Romana. But that peaceful era was about to end. Following Hadrian's succession plan, Marcus Aurelius became emperor. For the first time in Roman history, he did something no emperor had willingly done before. He shared power with his adoptive brother, Lucius Verus. Together, they became Rome's first official co-emperors. Marcus Aurelius was unlike any ruler the empire had ever seen. He loved philosophy more than luxury. He preferred reading books to attending extravagant celebrations. He believed that an emperor's greatest duty was not to seek glory, but to serve his people with wisdom, justice, and self-discipline. Long before wearing the imperial purple, Marcus had studied the teachings of the Stoic philosophers, who believed that true strength came from controlling one's own mind rather than conquering others. Many senators admired his wisdom. Others feared that a philosopher might not survive in a world ruled by swords. Their fears became reality almost immediately. Only months after Marcus took the throne, shocking news arrived from the east. The Parthian Empire, Rome's greatest eastern rival, had invaded the kingdom of Armenia, a loyal Roman ally. Roman governors were caught off guard, frontier forts were threatened, and eastern provinces prepared for war. Marcus Aurelius faced his first great decision as emperor. Although he remained in Rome to govern the empire, he entrusted Lucius Verus with leading the military campaign against Parthia. Massive Roman legions marched east, beginning a conflict that would last for years. At first, the campaign was difficult. The Parthians were experienced horse archers who struck quickly before disappearing across the open plains. Several Roman units suffered heavy losses, and confidence inside the empire began to weaken. But Rome soon adapted. Experienced generals reorganized the legions, secured supply routes, and launched powerful counterattacks. Roman armies advanced through Mesopotamia, captured key fortresses, and eventually entered the great Parthian capital of Ctesiphon. The city fell. Once again, Rome appeared victorious. The empire celebrated another military triumph. Yet hidden among the returning soldiers was an enemy no sword could defeat. As Roman legions marched home, a mysterious disease began spreading through their camps. At first, only a few soldiers became sick. Then, hundreds. Then, thousands. No one understood what was happening. The disease spread from military camps into crowded cities, then across trade routes that connected every province of the empire. Markets grew quiet. Families lost loved ones, and entire towns began reporting unexplained deaths. Rome had defeated the Parthians. But it had unknowingly carried something far more dangerous back home. A plague. One that would soon become one of the deadliest disasters in Roman history. The victorious Roman legions returned from the Parthian War, believing they had secured another glorious triumph for the empire. But they unknowingly carried an invisible enemy far more dangerous than any army. A mysterious disease spread rapidly through military camps before reaching Rome itself, then moved across the empire along its busy trade routes. Historians now call it the Antonine Plague, believed by many to have been either smallpox or measles. Within months, cities that had once been full of life fell silent as thousands died every day. Farms were abandoned, markets closed, workshops stood empty, and entire families disappeared. Even experienced physicians could do little more than watch as the disease swept across Britain, Gaul, Egypt, Asia Minor, and the heart of Italy. Ancient writers claim that, at its worst, thousands of people were dying every single day in Rome. As the empire struggled with this devastating epidemic, another disaster struck. Powerful Germanic tribes, including the Marcomanni and Quadi, crossed the frozen Danube River and invaded Roman territory. Villages were burned, frontier forts were overwhelmed, and for the first time in generations, barbarian warriors threatened northern Italy itself. Marcus Aurelius suddenly faced two enemies at once: a deadly plague within the empire and a massive invasion beyond its borders. Despite poor health and his love of philosophy, the emperor personally took command of the Roman army. Leaving the comfort of Rome behind, he spent years living in harsh military camps alongside his soldiers, enduring freezing winters, hunger, and constant warfare. During quiet moments between battles, Marcus continued writing the personal reflections that would later become one of history's greatest philosophical works, Meditations. While commanding the legions, he reminded himself that power was temporary, death came to every man, and true greatness was measured not by victory but by duty. His words would survive long after the battles had ended. Yet as the war dragged on and the plague continued claiming lives, Marcus realized that Rome was entering one of the darkest periods in its history. Even greater challenges still lay ahead, and before his reign ended, he would make a decision that many historians believe changed the fate of the Roman Empire forever. After years of brutal warfare along the Danube, Marcus Aurelius slowly pushed the Germanic tribes back beyond Rome's frontiers. The Marcomanni, Quadi, and other tribes suffered heavy defeats, and for a moment it seemed that Rome had survived its greatest crisis. Marcus even planned to create two new Roman provinces north of the Danube, believing this would permanently secure the empire's borders. But history had one final test waiting for the philosopher-emperor. In 175 AD, shocking news spread across the empire that the powerful general Avidius Cassius had declared himself emperor after falsely hearing that Marcus Aurelius had died. The rebellion threatened to divide Rome once again, but before Marcus could confront him, Cassius was assassinated by his own officers. Civil war was avoided, and Marcus chose mercy instead of revenge, pardoning many who had supported the rebellion. After restoring order, he traveled through the eastern provinces with his wife, Faustina the Younger, but tragedy struck when Faustina died during the journey. Marcus honored her memory by founding a city in her name and continued carrying the burden of empire alone. Returning to the northern frontier, he resumed his campaign against the Germanic tribes, despite growing older and weaker. Years of war, exhaustion, and the lingering effects of the Antonine Plague had taken a heavy toll on both the emperor and the empire. Then, in 180 AD, while stationed at the military camp of Vindobona, modern-day Vienna, Marcus Aurelius fell seriously ill. Surrounded by his soldiers, he died on 17 March 180 AD, ending the reign of the last of Rome's 5 good emperors. Before his death, Marcus made one decision that historians still debate today. Instead of choosing the most capable successor through adoption, he left the throne to his biological son, Commodus. The peaceful tradition established by Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, and Antoninus Pius came to an end. Commodus would inherit the most powerful empire on earth, but he lacked the wisdom, discipline, and sense of duty that had made his father legendary. Many historians believe this single decision marked the beginning of Rome's long decline. Marcus Aurelius is remembered not only as a great emperor but also as one of history's greatest philosophers. His book Meditations, written during war and hardship, continues to inspire millions of people around the world. With his death, Rome's golden age ended forever, and a new, darker chapter was about to begin under the rule of Commodus, the emperor whose actions would shock the Roman world.